Muhammad Halimi, a 53-year-old exiled Afghan scholar, received a panicked message from his son that his name had appeared in a viral post shared by Elon Musk on X. The post, shared with Musk's followers, claimed United States Institute of Peace funded Taliban and named Halimi, describing him as a former Taliban member, with U.S. payments termed as support for militants. Comments flooded in, labeling him a terrorist Republican rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene even congratulated Musk for uncovering the federal government paying the Taliban. Halimi was stunned. While his modest USIP contract might be criticized as wasteful, he was no enemy of America. Though he had worked under the Taliban regime in the 1990s, he defected after the U.S. invasion post-9/11 and became a cabinet minister in the U.S.-backed Afghan government, advising U.S. officials on the Taliban. He was even part of the team preparing for U.S. Taliban diplomatic talks under President Trump. A vocal Taliban critic, Halimi had survived 3 assassination attempts and only escaped Afghanistan in 2021 with CIA help. His USIP work, involving gathering information on conditions for Afghan women, was the opposite of supporting the Taliban. News Pulse obtained records showing Musk and his team at the newly formed DOJ should have known this, as his role was documented. Exposing him endangered Halimi's collaborators and relatives in Afghanistan. State Department officials were warned of the danger DOJ posed to Halimi's family. DOJ, locked in a battle to control USIP, used the misleading narrative that Halimi represented corrupt foreign aid funding enemies to justify its takeover. Shortly after Musk's post, threatening messages and Taliban accusations calling Halimi a thief and traitor flooded his phone. About a week after DOJ outed him, Taliban intelligence agents detained 3 of Halimi's family members in Kabul. They were blindfolded, taken to a prison, beaten, and interrogated over Halimi's work. The Taliban spokesperson downplayed Halimi's importance and refused to discuss the treatment. While the family was eventually released, they were terrified and pressured to declare Halimi a spy. Helpless, Halimi couldn't reach his USIP contacts, they were fired. Nate Kavanaugh, a college dropout, was installed as USIP's new president by DOJ. Weeks later, during a televised meeting on Fox News with host Jesse Watters, Musk and Kavanaugh targeted USIP and Halimi. Kavanaugh claimed he found USIP paying a contractor associated with the Taliban. Musk quipped the payment was for nothing. Fox News stated it focused on spending practices and potential fraud, not identifying Halimi specifically. News Pulse found Kavanaugh had received detailed USIP records on Halimi's documented work weeks. Earlier, much of Halimi's USIP work involved providing expert advice to the State Department, attending Islamic conferences for contacts, and advising on women's issues in Islam. He was uniquely qualified due to his sister's murder by her husband and his advocacy for women's shelters and rights. Haley was forced into exile multiple times, fleeing the Soviet invasion as a child and drowning in a refugee camp before studying abroad in Egypt. After returning, he worked for the Taliban by necessity as an educated man seeking work. Imprisoned by the U.S. at Bagram Airfield early in the invasion, he learned English and built an understanding of his captors. He was later released and served the U.S.-backed government. Kavanaugh, previously involved in unsuccessful tech startups, joined DOJ and was assigned to oversee budget cuts. He met resistance when trying to take over USIP, eventually forcing his way in with police. DOJ fired virtually all USIP personnel, including overseas staff who felt abandoned, closed offices globally, and cancelled contracts. They rifled through files to publicly embarrass USIP. Months later, Halimi remains jobless and struggles to get answers. Former U.S. diplomatic and security officials condemned DOJ's attack as absurd and dangerous, while some family escaped Afghanistan. They remain stranded without immigration status. Kavanaugh left government service in August. USIP remains under federal control, essentially frozen, with a new acting president appointed who defended the treatment of Halimi. George Foote, the former head lawyer of USIP, called DOJ's outing of Halimi criminally careless. Halimi remains without work, hoping the administration will admit its error and expressing a wish to confront Musk, asking why such injustice was committed and believing Musk would be deeply ashamed if fully informed.